If you haven't already, guys, hit that subscribe button, notifications bell in the corner over there so you know each time I release one of these videos. And if you would like more content because you like this content, then head over to glasshammergaming.co.uk and join the Elite, where you will get access to Let's Talk Tactics, which is a weekly breakdown of tournaments and lists which are doing really well in tournaments. You will also get great discounts off our web store. And also, if you would just like to support the channel, then yeah, join the Elite. Right, guys, let's jump straight into it. So you got a Grandmaster Dreadknight. What makes the guy so good? First, let's have a look at his stat line. So he's got a 9-inch movement, which is pretty cool for a character. Yes, he's a vehicle. That can be a little bit of a downside because he's got a big base. But he's weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, has a strength and toughness both of 6. He's got 13 wounds, 6 attacks, which is really cool because you see some of these monster characters like Be'lakor, for example. Be'lakor has 6 attacks. Now, Be'lakor is 360 points. This guy's like 205, almost half the points of Be'lakor, but he's got the same amount of attacks. Very lethal. He's leadership 9, and he's got a 2+ armor save because he's in a massive suit, and also a 4+ invulnerable save, which is key. On top of that, you arm him with a Gatling silencer and a heavy side cannon. Both guns are 24-inch range. The silencer is heavy 12, strength 5 -1, 1 damage. And the side cannon is heavy 6, strength 8 -2, flat 2 damage. So he's got a lot of shots, and they're quite efficient. And if you put the right guns into the right targets, he can actually hurt 2 different units at the same time, which is really cool. He can cast 1 psychic power as well, which I like to do Vortex of Doom with him just to do even more damage. So he can Vortex a squad, he can Gatling silence a squad, he can side cannon a squad, and he can charge a squad. Because he also has a Nemesis Greatsword. They are the choice now, guys, and let me tell you why. So the first profile is strength +4, -3 AP, and D6 damage. That means he's strength 10, -3, D6 damage. Can be a little bit swingy because it's D6 damage. But he is, strength 10, and he's got 6 attacks and he hits on 2, so it's quite reliable. But he's got a sweep attack, and that's the magic, I think, here. So you make 2 hits for each attack on his profile. Now, he's got 6 attacks, so you're essentially making 12 attacks hitting on 2s, which is reliable anyway. And then on top of that, it's strength 6, -2, 2 damage. 2 damage, and that's what I want to point out here, guys, is even Mortarion, when Mortarion does his sweep, and he's a 500-point character, that's 1 damage. When Be'lakor does his sweep, and that's a 360-point character, that's 1 damage. And also, a Bloodthirster, when he does his sweep attack, that is also 1 damage. Now, that's 3 monsters I've mentioned that are all 250 points, 360 points, and 500 points, 409 points. All more points than this Grandmaster Dreadknight, and their sole purpose in the game is just combat. All of their sweeps are 1 damage, and this guy, who's got a decent amount of psychic and shooting on him, he's got flat 2 damage on his 12 attacks, which is absolutely bonkers. Now we're going to have a look at how we make him even more efficient. First of all, you give him the Demon Slayer Warlord trait. So demons cannot take any invulnerables against him, which is incredible considering the amount of chaos there is right now, because demons is all demon engines as well. So like Plague Burst Crawlers, Blow Drones, but Mortarion, Magnus, Lords of Change, Keepers of Secrets, all these things in the meta right now, they've all got invulnerables and they're all demons. So he could just run up and go, no invulnerable saves for demons. But the main reason you've taken it is you've got +1 attack. So it's one of those where you're like, oh, it could be situational because it only works against demons. And you go, oh, but he gets +1 attack, so that works all the time. Decent Warlord trait. So he's got 7 attacks, meaning when he sweeps, he's got 14 attacks. So you're like, okay, it's worth it just for the +1 attack. And if I do come up against demons, he's in a fantastic, amazing, great position. So that's why you take that Warlord trait. And what you do is you make him your actual Warlord so you can pay a CP to give him a second Warlord trait. And this one's the best one. Hammer of Righteousness. If you give him Hammer of Righteousness, when he charges, gets charged, or heroically intervenes, he gets +1 to wound with melee attacks. Now, it's absolutely insane. So he's got 14 attacks. If he swings, he's got 14 attacks. And he's hitting on 2s, strength 6 with +1 to wound now, -2 flat 2 damage. He's just going to wreck things, like absolutely destroy entire units. Then you give him one of the Gifts of the Prescient. And the one you give him is Servant of the Throne. This one's really cool. It only works once per game, but it's key on the turn when he's going to take a lot of damage. So we mentioned he's toughness 6 and he's got 13 wounds. He's also got a 2-up armor save. Now on the turn when your opponent's going to shoot him with a lot of anti-tank, you go, right, in your shooting phase, bang, I'm going to pop this gift, and I get a 3+ invulnerable save until the end of the turn. It lasts to the end of the turn. So for the whole shooting phase and for the combat phase, he's going to have a 3+ invulnerable save, and he's got 13 wounds. This makes him incredibly hard to take down, especially when you can do things like, counter-offensive, and you can, interrupt in people's combat. If they charge you with 2 units, they fight with 1, you interrupt and kill the other one, stuff like that. So he is actually really tough to take down and does a lot of damage. Now, the last buff is choosing the right Brotherhood. And I think you take him in the Prescient Brethren Brotherhood, just because their stratagem is Foresight. So you can use Foresight on this Dreadknight, and it's only 1 CP, that's the key thing. And you can use it either in the shooting phase, when a unit shoots, or in a fighting phase, when a unit fights in your army. And basically what happens is they can re-roll hit rolls and wound rolls of a 1. So just imagine that. With his shooting, he's hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, strength 5 and strength 8 on his guns, re-rolling 1s to wound. Absolutely insane. And then you go, okay, now he's going to fight. Now let's have a look at these sweeps. Now you go, right, 14 attacks. 14 attacks. Hitting on 2s, and I'm re-rolling my 1s. And then I'm strength 6 with +1 to wound, and I'm re-rolling my 1s to wound. Now, if we're being honest, the things that he's going to use his sweep against are all going to be toughness 4, toughness 5 models. That's why you would sweep, because there's quite a lot of them. And then you go, right, so if they're all toughness 4 and toughness 5, I'm strength 6, I got +1 to wound, so I'm wounding them on 2s already, and then I'm re-rolling 1s. So he'd be hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s, and wounded on 2s, re-rolling 1s against most things. And then if he's going up against big things like Imperial Knights, he's strength 10, he wounds them on 3s with the big attack, but he's got +1, so now he's wounding them on 2s, re-rolling 1s as well. So this guy is so efficient at dealing damage, but we've made him tough as well by giving them once per game 3-up invulnerable save and 13 wounds. So this is how you make a guy both tanky and killy at the same time, all just in one Dreadknight. And remember to take Vortex of Doom, because it's so cool, and he can go forward and do a bucket ton more damage on his own. Right, so this is the way that I've been loading out my Nemesis Grandmaster Dreadknight. If you guys have been loading yours out in any other way, please leave it in the comments below for everybody to share. And also, I would love to read what you're using and pinch it, because I'm having loads of fun with Grey Knights at the moment as well. And I'd like to make my one better if you guys have got any suggestions. Until next week, guys, stay safe, play loads of Warhammer 40k, and enjoy all of the great content. See you later.